Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern at the request of Patreon subscriber Dodrin, who recently top-8'd their first RCQ with their build of Lantern Control and wanted to celebrate by sending it into the channel. Congrats to Dodrin for that finish and for continuing the Lord's work on this miserable deck. Miserable in the best way. This is one of those decks that is zero-sum fun. If you are having fun, your opponent's not, and vice versa. If you're not familiar with this, Lantern of Insight is the key card here. Players play with the top card of their libraries revealed, and you can sacrifice this to shuffle target player's library. Then you use stuff like Codex Shredder. Tap, target player mills a card. The combo here is, if you know what their card is, and it's good, you can mill it away. And if it's bad, you can not mill it away and let them draw it. And the more Codex Shredders and Pixels of Pandemoniums you have, this one is tap, each player exiles the top card of their library face down. The more of this effect you have, the more control you have over your opponent's draws. If you only have one Codex Shredder and they have two good cards in a row, then you kind of have to sacrifice your Lantern and make them shuffle the second good card away. Then you don't know what's on top of their deck anymore. Then you're just a bad mill deck. But if you have two, they need three good cards in a row before they get to do anything. If you have three, they need four good cards in a row, etc. And the plan to make all this happen is we're a deck full of discard, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Collective Brutality, and 4x Ensnaring Bridge. This is essential to the game plan because if your opponent never draws a good card again, it doesn't matter if they already have a creature in play and they just kill you with that one. But Ensnaring Bridge locks them out. You can control your draws with Codex Shredder and Lantern of Insight as well to make sure that you never have too many cards in hand that your opponent gets to attack. If they can't attack and they can't draw cards that remove the Ensnaring Bridge, then they can never win. And from there, you just mill them out, slowly but surely. This deck was extremely popular back when we had Mox Opal in the format. It got a big boost from Urza Saga existing, because that is a way to tutor your combo pieces more directly than we used to have access to. I think I'd still rather have Mox Opal than Urza Saga, but this is a cool backup plan. You might actually be able to beat somebody in combat with all your artifacts and making some constructs if there's no Ensnaring Bridge around. But being able to tutor your Lantern more directly is insanely powerful. And that's the deck. Basically, the most I can hope for here is to draw a lot of Ensnaring Bridges and hope that my opponents concede when they're locked out, because it takes a long time to win if they don't. It's time to cause some misery. Let's play Dodrin's Lantern Control. I'm on the play in round 1. I have an Inquisition and a Fatal Push to interact, and Ancient Stirrings can dig for some pieces. It's good enough, I'll keep it. Start with an Inquisition, see what they're working with. Oh, it's burn. Cool. What am I worried about here? I don't have creatures for Searing Blaze to hit, unless I choose to put some into play, which I don't have to do to play the game. Skewer takes some setting up. Lava Spike and Rift Bolt are both 1-mana plays. Eidolon lines up versus the Fatal Push for me. I think I just want to take the Lava Spike, though Rift Bolt sets up Skewer the Critics that I can otherwise kind of ignore. And maybe I take the Rift Bolt and make them skewer me in some sort of more difficult, mana-awkward way. There's the mountain we saw. Here's the Lava Spike. I'm at 17. Found a Lantern, that's kind of the nuts. I'm going to Ancient Stirrings, and I found a Bridge, a Saga. And this is a deck that, if they find more creatures, I'll care about Bridge, but I think I'd rather get Saga going and find a Codex Shredder. Saga, put the Bridge closest to the top, I guess. Though, I'm going to shuffle before I draw those cards. I certainly hope. Lantern of Insight, you're drawing a Lava Spike, I'm drawing a Boseiju. Boseiju is another answer to Eidolon, but it fixes the mana into that Lightning Helix that I don't want to play against. Okay. Decided to spike me. Oh, right, because they didn't draw the land. That makes sense. The Eidolon was contingent on drawing a land to actually play that card. Another Lantern on top of my deck. Now I have kind of an interesting choice. I could play out this Underworld cookbook, make a food, loan back the Boseiju, or I could just make a 2/2 and trade with Goblin Guide. I think that's better. There it is. It's going to attack. Now I could trade with Goblin Guide, or I could just have better creatures in my opponent for the rest of the game. Because I don't have an Ensnaring Bridge right now. This construct could just be Moat, but I played around this Searing Blaze on purpose. Okay, I will make the trade. I left the Searing Blaze in their hand because my deck doesn't have to play with creatures if it doesn't want to. I'm going to get to start controlling their draw steps here, though. Top card of my deck's an Ensnaring Bridge. That doesn't matter. It's about to disappear. I think I will make the construct, though, because I see the Monastery Swiftspear on top of the deck. Codex Shredder, Boseiju, Underworld Cookbook, Lantern of Insight Cookbook. Yeah, by making the construct, I can ignore the Swiftspear. Another Searing Blaze on top. And this is where this deck gets really interesting. When you only have one Codex Shredder, you have to be really, really judicious with it, because they currently can't cast the Searing Blaze on top of their deck. And if I just like mill this to get the mill going, then maybe they run a runner lands, where Codex Shredder, I think I would give them this Searing Blaze. They tapped out, which is reasonable to do, but I think I would have let them keep that Searing Blaze and just try to control their lands after that. Next turn, loan back the Urza Saga. Leyline of Sanctity, in you go. Spellskite, in you go. Elixir of Immortality. I suspect this is more for control matchups than it is for burn, but it does read gain 5 life on it, and it's tutorable. I'm interested. I don't think Karn is necessary for this matchup. I don't think we need a surgical. What do these Pithing Needles hit in a burn deck? The Roiling Vortex, I guess, is a card that they play. Players can't gain life this turn, is the activated ability of that. I don't think I care about that. Although life gain is non-zero part of this deck, especially in this matchup. I don't have perfect memory of the time, but I remember playing Lantern back in the day, and Blooming Marsh being a huge printing for this deck because we used to have to play Llanowar Waste, and that improved the burn matchup a lot, as well as Inventor's Fair. Both of these cards were in Kaladesh, so that's the arrow we're talking about, and then you could slowly get out of burn range. I remember burn being a kind of annoying matchup back in the day. I think some Thoughtseizes can come out too, and then especially, oh no, never mind. I was about to say something that doesn't make any sense because my brain wasn't working. Ignore me. I do appreciate this opponent, though, and their willingness to concede when they are just slightly behind to one Codex Shredder. Shout out to that. It's going to save me a lot of clicks and brain power. I'm going to snap keep this hand. I've got a Leyline, and I can Glimmer Void, Lantern, but I think I lead on the Saga here. Keep. Opponent mulled to 6 so far. Hey, they're on 6. I'm on 6 with a Leyline. 6 cards left in my hand. If they just send a bunch of Goblin Guides my way, my hand's not great at dealing with that, but then we're in the Ensnaring Bridge or Bust phase of the game, which is always part of the Lantern existence. Urza Saga. If they have Wear Tear, they could just kill Urza Saga here and ignore the Leyline. That would be pretty savage. A Lantern of Insight. I would like to know what's in my opponent's hand for the rest of the game. I'm drawing Quicksand, you're drawing Sunbaked Canyon. Okay. I'll take a land here. If they played a land that's not Sunbaked Canyon. Wow, just drawing a card right now? That's tough. If Eidolon in their hand, Rift Bolt, that's not going to find a target because of Leyline. Quicksand actually kills Eidolon. Target attacking creature gets -1/-2 until end of turn. The technology is strong in this deck. I'm going to play Glimmer Void. Use my Ancient Stirrings. Hopefully find a Codex Shredder. But if I don't, I could play Haywire Might. I just don't want to pass the turn with Glimmer Void and only one artifact. And I would like to cast my cheap spells now while I can. Okay, there is an Ensnaring Bridge. That's another piece of the puzzle. I'll just take that now. Spellskite on top of my deck. Just putting all the hooks in here. Haywire Might cannot exile Eidolon because it specifically reads a non-creature artifact or enchantment. Opponent asked how many hate pieces I have in the sideboard. A lot. This is a bad matchup, I think. They're saying, Jesus, I have a family. Well, your family's going to have to learn to live without you at this point. I'm sorry. Okay, I can play Quicksand and Spellskite here. I could also drop in Snaring Bridge. I don't have a good answer to Eidolon. I mean, Assassin's Trophy's in my hand, but I don't need to answer Eidolon if my board just answers Eidolon. Okay. I'm going to pass. I'm going to let them draw this land. But they are in the squeeze here. Eidolon attacks. It dies to Quicksand. Here it comes. Target attacking creature without flying gets -1/-2 until end of turn. Bloop. I don't want to just block with Spellskite because then that turns on the Rift Bolt and the Skewer that we know are in their hand, and they could just spend 3 mana to kill Spellskite. They're drawing a card, finding Skewer the Critics. Lava Spike can't target me. Skewer can't target me. Lightning Bolt. I love that. When they have to Lightning Bolt and you gain 2 life rather than lose 3 life, that's a deal. I'm not going to shred anybody. I do want the Swamp that's on top of my deck. That casts the Loam, getting back Quicksand and Saga. Loaming up 2 lands here makes Ensnaring Bridge worse, but I don't think I need that. We got, it was a pleasure meeting you in the chat. I think that's the pre-concession friendliness. I'll keep playing until they actually hit the concede button, though. They just drew the Lava Spike that they cannot cast targeting me. I wonder if we're going to see a flurry of burn at their own face for the meme concession. Hell yeah. Lava Spike yourself. Love it. Suspended Rift Bolt. Suspended another Rift Bolt. Okay. It's a prolonged meme concession. I am going to shred myself here because I don't need another land. You can use the Shredder to fix your own draws if you don't need to shred your opponent. There's a Lantern on top. I guess we're still playing. Grab the backup Lantern. Saga. Lantern. So Rift Bolts actually can finish off Spellskite if that's how they want to do this, or they can continue lighting themselves up. Okay, they are targeting themselves, and then they have a Boros Charm on top of the deck. Well, they'll be at 8. They can tap their Canyon to 7, Boros Charm yourself to 3. If they're holding another burn spell that they could cast, they can do this. Boros Charm yourself. Canyon is drawing a card, okay. That Shock, I guess, is an option. Now I have to play this sub-game of, can I fix their draws for them to kill themselves faster? Do I even want to Inquisition them? Not really, but I will still draw the card. Oh, now it's actually a race. This is kind of fun. I can make a construct that will be lethal next turn. Can I beat them before they beat themselves? There's a Wear Tear. They can fetch Shock to 1 here. Do they have 1 more damage to deal? Disappointing. Okay. They got the full 20 on themselves before I could make a lethal construct, but we did still win, and pretty cleanly. Good showing for Lantern. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm on the play in round number 2. I have double Lantern and a Stirrings. I am going to keep this hand. Collective Brutality was also one of the best cards back in the day because it was insane in the burn matchup, which I just said was not great. The kill a creature, gain 2 life, and duress a thing. All modes are relevant versus burn, and it just gets your hand down to nothing for Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, Aether Vial, okay. We give it Ensnaring Bridge, there I am. I suspect Merfolk here. I see a Cavern on top of their deck, an Aether Vial that I know is in their hand. Pithing Needle is in the deck. Ensnaring Bridge is not only in the deck, but in the hand. I would love to stir up a Codex Shredder here. This Haywire Mite can answer the Vial. Oh, actually, Saga is just better here. All right, I'll take the Saga. And the Pithing Needle's right there on top of my deck. Easy money. Backup Lantern. Just getting my hand empty here. Tide Shaper being just sinkhole on my Urza Saga would be unfortunate right now. Aether Vial number 2 into the face of Pithing Needle. You love to see it. Saga ticks up. Glimmer Void is safe to drop here. Pithing Needle, name Aether Vial. That's basically him to Turok. Either drawing an island. Next turn I can cast Ensnaring Bridge. I just undid their first 2 turns with a single 1-mana artifact. Woodallion Hexcatcher. That card's actually pretty powerful against me. And they do have a Tide Shaper. Okay, strong. This just kills my Urza Saga straight up. And now I don't necessarily have Ensnaring Bridge anytime soon. Surgical on top, that's not good here. I am going to Thoughtseize them. Tidebinder, that card's got to go. Yeah. We've got a Dismember that's totally blank, and a Merfolk Trickster that is not totally blank, but is mostly just a 2-2. Svalin is really powerful if I don't figure this out soon. And I can just Surgical their Tidebinders and shuffle the Svalin. Not that I'm happy with that exchange. But it's not about being happy. It's about beating your opponent. Fear does not exist in this dojo. Collective Brutality, just -2/-2 mode. They'll probably sacrifice the Tide Shaper to counter this. Yep. Right, now I can decide if I want a Surgical... Or, yeah, they can use Hexcatcher to save Svalin, so I actually do have to Surgical. And I think I'd rather take their Tidebinders out of their deck. Because if they use Hexcatcher to counter this, that's fine. Just checking their deck for answers to a resolved Ensnaring Bridge. We've got Otawara, and that's it. There's no counter spells in this deck, just Subtlety. Second Hexcatcher. Alright, it's going to be hard to resolve this thing. Missing of the third land is just going to smoke me forever here. And I could shuffle away the Hexcatcher, but I have Assassin's Trophy to get through 2 of them. I might have to shuffle my own deck here and try to hit land number 3. No, I think I'm going to let this ride just a little longer. Oh, this Thoughtseize. Deck, come on. I miss Mox Opal so bad. And now I've got kind of a squeeze here because I want them to draw Subtlety, but if I let them untap, they could flash in Merfolk Trickster and counter my Assassin's Trophy with it. So I'm just going to Assassin's Trophy one of the Hexcatchers right now. And they're going to take their land in their shuffle. Silvergill Adept. And maybe I should have predicted Tide Shaper and just gotten a more stable land. Because I think this game is over 4 turns ago if they don't sinkhole me. Here's Adept. It could draw this Master. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get through this. They have too many Merfolk now. They could just Spell Pierce or Force Spike every spell I play. Alright, I'm going to hit myself with a Lantern. Expedition Map. Alright, I'm dead. Disappointing. We had all the pieces there. I may have messed up. Now they get their sideboard. That hardly seems fair. Spellskite comes in. That handles Otawara. Another Needle can handle Otawara, Aether Vial, and Vidalian Hexcatcher. I don't think I need Haywire Might or Karn here. I'm just going to go minimum here. I think this matchup is reasonable on paper. You just have to actually deliver. All right, I got all the hooks in my opening hand right now. I'm going to Stirrings first. A Lantern, Lantern, Needle. I could take this Needle, or I could double up on Lantern. I think I want Needle. They are passing the turn. Spell Pierce is a tough one here. Lantern. Shredder. Are we in? Okay, we appear to be in. I've got an Ensnaring Bridge on top of my deck, which means I don't need to worry about this Master of the Pearl Trident, assuming I don't mess up somehow. There's Otawara. Just played it as a land. Adept revealed Master. They just drew Trickster. Okay, at this point, if they destroy my Saga, I don't mind. I'm going to get the bridge on the stack at least. Hope they don't force a negation here. Disappointing. Okay. Force a negation worked. Now I do care if this Urza Saga stays in play. Oof, always had it. That card is very powerful against Urza Saga strategies. They're in for 2. I'm going to mill this Glimmer Void because I don't want it. I'll take that Collective Brutality. Quicksand is really sick too. Alright. Do I want to minus or minus discard and look at their hand? They already forced me once. I could discard the Shadow Spear. Alright, I'm going to discard Shadow Spear and hope that there's actually a spell worth taking here. Seeing their hand and then having perfect information for the rest of the game is just worth so much to me. even if Shadow Spear is a reasonable card to have. Force and Negation, Pitching Lord of Atlantis. Okay. 2 for 2. I think I want to Needle Mutavault here. I know they're holding a Vial. If they don't draw any creatures the rest of the game, I don't care about Vial. Needling Mutavault, though, is an attacker that they won't get. Yeah, now we get to see a game where I don't have Ensnaring Bridge. Well, multiple games where that's true. Valen, disappointing. Now Ward 1 doesn't help. Okay. I need to shred myself, try to find another Ensnaring Bridge real quick. Mill myself, show me a bridge. Spellskite. That does absorb damage, but I don't think I want it. Shred myself. There's a Saga. Okay. I'm probably dead here. This Merfolk Trickster also just kills a Construct token straight up. Loses the ability to do the thing it does. This has always been the case with Lantern Control. Either you resolve an Ensnaring Bridge or you don't in a lot of matchups. And that is the entire thing, and there is no more. Okay, I am going to have to mill myself in my upkeep. Ensnaring Bridge. All right, I have to Lantern myself and just hope the shuffle hits bridge. Nope. Okay, GG. All it took was one free counterspell. They had two. They had more than they needed, but that's all it took. I probably should have played around Tideshaper in game 1. If I just get any land other than Urza Saga off of my Ancient Stirrings, I win game 1 pretty easily. And then we go to game 3 here. All good. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play for round 3. You can keep hands that only have colorless mana, but not if they don't do the thing. I'm going to mulligan this. If one of these other cards at random was a Lantern, I'd be in. I will try this. It's not really what this deck wants to be doing, but it's not nothing. The Saga really gives you a lot of action. I'll have 3 draw steps before I know what I need to get with Saga. Ooh, okay. I remember this matchup being very bad also, in case anyone's curious. There's a Saga. I guess this could be Amulet, and they just let on Valakut and not actually a Scapeshift Valakut deck. Okay, cool. Glad I didn't name Sakura Tribe Elder with this Pithing Needle. I'm probably going to name Expedition Map with Pithing Needle. Oh no! Cursed. Okay, how do I want to handle this now? I can just delete a card in my hand by needling Expedition Map. I could name Slayer Stronghold or one of the cards that they actually use to combo with. I think I'm just going to needle the map. Call it what it is. Which is bad. The thing I could have done there, I suppose, is play my own Expedition Map and just use Assassin's Trophy to survive this turn. Dryad is a good one. I'll be able to Fatal Push Dryad next turn if I get a next turn. 3 mana in the pool. Okay, if I Assassin's Trophy this Dryad now, they don't get another land drop because they've used 2 already this turn, and the game will see that they have 2. A new Dryad doesn't reset your lands. They actually made a rules update a few years ago where that's not a thing. The game simply keeps track of your bank of things you can do. Okay, I don't want to play against 2 Dryads. I don't like giving them a land, but it's a forest. Arboreal Grazer, alright, they're still going anyway. And they floated mana. There's more. My god. Alright, there was in fact more. I'll Fatal Push this Dryad now that they gave me Revolt. Land for Karn? Thoughtseize. Alright. What's left over there? I know there's a land. Primeval Titan is the best thing we could hit. And here I am shamefully deploying my Expedition Map. They have the Growth Chamber. Are they just hitting a land drop? They're going to pick up Teleria West and do something with that. They got the Summoner's Pact. This could be a primetime next turn. I need a relevant spell. Collective Brutality, hell yeah. That is actually insane. I happen to know my opponent's holding an instant or sorcery that they care about. I'll take some respect. Slayer Stronghold, the other thing I would have named with Expedition Map, is in their hand. Or with Thing Needle. Stronghold. In Landcast Karn, a card that I have not been playing with up to this point, been boarding it out. It's just sort of a weirdo in the deck. Almost a Landcast card. Next turn we can do something. Don't kill me in the meantime, please. Dryad. And they do have a Valakut in play. Ooh, they will not have Primeval Titans in their deck for a while, though. What does Karn actually do? What's in my sideboard? Stone Brain. Torpor Orb. Damping Sphere is pretty strong, too. Okay, I'm going to play Karn and plus on my Expedition Map so it can block. And then in their draw step, I'm going to Surgical their Primeval Titans. They certainly can win without Primeval Titans in their deck. It's just a lot harder. And they have the Cultivator Colossus, the one of Cultivator Colossus in their hand. Bunch of One Rings that Karn shuts off. All right, well, I am prepared to die to this Cultivator Colossus. And they have enough mana to do this, of course. Son of a biscuit. Can't catch a break here. Literal one of. And the Selesnya Sanctuary, the bounce land being the other card in their hand, is enough to get the Colossus both into play and at least one trigger once you drop it. There it is. Please whiff, please whiff, please whiff. As the next land also starts Valakuting me. Oh, they appear to have stopped. That's lucky. Slayer Stronghold. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's there too. Ah! We were so close to this being a fun, interesting game, but this stupid card in their hand with exactly the other stupid card. And they're attacking Karn for enough to kill him even if I block, so I simply will not. Goodbye, Karn. Nice try. And Ensnaring Bridge, still a big game here. It is not the long-term solution to Valakut that I want. And now they're just bashing for damage. and ripping the One Ring the turn after they cleared Karn. Sure. Okay, you win. I'm good. If you're going to draw like that, then we don't need to keep doing this. Okay, what are my good cards here? Stone Brain, Torpor Orb, Damping Sphere. I like all these. I don't actually think Collective Brutality is good. Haywire Might's great. Underworld Cookbook, Shadow Spear, probably not cards I need. I could max out on Needles here. In Spellskite can redirect Besejus or Slayer Stronghold activations. The Karn was pretty cool. The Surgical was strong. Fatal Push doesn't have that many targets in the deck, but they are important. I think... So I have one Beseju, and then I have my combo. Yeah, I think I'd rather interact with my opponent like this. Hilarious. My Expedition Map again. I'll keep. Hey, there's my map. Amulet of Vigor from the opponent. I'm going to Thoughtseize them first, and then play Pithing Needle with more information. Thoughtseize you. Arboreal Grazer, Pact Titan. Teleria West. I mean, it's just got to be Primeval Titan, right? So if I take Grazer, I get a turn to play Ensnaring Bridge, but Primetime does Valakut stuff. I count 4 mana right now if I leave them the Grazer. I could take the Pact, Needle Teleria West, so they can't get Beseju, or just Needle Beseju. And they can't cast Pact for a while either. Okay, I'm going to take the Primeval Titan, and then Pithing Needle Teleria West. Hope that makes sense. Hope that works. Maybe I'm just supposed to go straight to the source and name Beseju on that. Here's the Grazer. Playing Teleria West as the Grazer trigger. And there's the Rot Farm. Picking up the Forest. You got it. Haywire Might. Okay, I think I want Lantern of Insight. I want to know what they're cooking with. My top card's another Urza Saga. That's good. And I'm going to play this Ensnaring Bridge. They're drawing Sunhome Fortress of the Legion. A 1 ring under that. I'm holding Haywire Might. I can handle the ring. Start gaining life off Inventor's Fair. Get completely out of reach. Torpor Orb on top. Another good one. Haywire Might. Selesnya Sanctuary on top right now. Okay. The Growth Chamber, I think that was the one unknown. And they can fire a Primetime here. Summoner's Pact, Primeval Titan. Yeah, they can get Boseiju plus Bounce Land and just Boseiju my thing. Son of a biscuit. Oh no, I was supposed to Haywire Might this amulet. It was right. I forgot I could do that. I was focused on the ring. Oh, they didn't do that though. Okay. Interesting. They can give +2/+0 Vig haste to a Primetime that can't attack. That's not what I thought was going to happen. Okay. Arboreal Grazer can actually always attack under Ensnaring Bridge, and they can pump it. They could give me 2 points at a time here. And I got a lot of time to figure that out. I'm not worried about that. I'll gain my life, play Torpor Orb. I could tutor for a land here. I probably want to do that. This map for... Is it just another Saga? Just keep the hooks in. Yeah, I'll get a Saga. Play Saga. Torpor Orb. They're drawing a Primetime, which is just a 6/6 now. Gotta pay for their pact or they lose. There's a ring. My Haywire Might is currently sleeping, so they can get one card out of this before I take it away forever. Now we got the hooks. Thoughtseize on top of my deck. Tutor with Saga. Get Codex Shredder. Has backup Ensnaring Bridge. Exile the One Ring. Okay. The thing is here. Now we just need to hold it. Amulet is a very tricky deck. They can win without combat through just Valakut stuff. They can get me 2 points at a time with Arboreal Grazer, which is actually 1 point at a time because of Inventor's Fair. And if I make a construct here, I can just block, and it's fine. They're playing a Vesuva, which is copying Inventor's Fair. That's fun. They can tutor another ring if they get to 3 artifacts, which means I'm now interested in milling their Amulet of Vigor, which I didn't care about a second ago, but now I do. They scooped it. Okay. They realized I wasn't going to give them 3 artifacts and tapped out. Cool. In Void Mirror counters packs forever. Like, you just can't pact into a Void Mirror unless something like Thalia is making it actually cost mana. But I don't think that's a thing I'm going to be doing. Yeah, I think this is the strat. Karn can grab these fringe things if the game gets mega grindy. Yeah, I like Thoughtseize. I like Stirrings. No lock pieces yet, but I think it's okay. Mycosynth Gardens, Amulet of Vigor. Found a lock piece. Thoughtseize you. Take your Dryad. You've got a bunch of lands in hand, including a Teleria West that can find stuff eventually. Not if it's in play, though. Long-term plans to bounce that are probably what my opponent's up to right now. I actually have a sick line here. I'm going to play the green pathway and just pass. And if they try to copy Amulet, I'll destroy it. Which ramps them, but then they have no amulets. So it kind of reverse ramps them. Like, by giving them a basic land, they lose access to all these bounce lands in their hand. You're going to slam a ring right now. Sweet, merciful Jehoshaphat. Okay. Their one unknown card in hand was the ring. Whatever. Okay. Ancient Stirrings. I have a number of answers to the ring in my deck. This is not any of them, though. Mycosynth Gardens only copies my artifacts. Expedition Map can eventually be an Urza Saga, like a 1,000-year plan to find a ring. That sounds awful. I'm going to grab a Pixis here. An Inventor's Fair, Pixis, Shredder. I can start yellow milling my opponent. Hope to spike some important card in their deck. Azusa, Lost but Seeking. Okay. Sun Home. Bounce land. Another bounce land. Oh, they're setting up a nice big turn next turn. I'm just going to blind Pixis. YOLO. They have more individually important cards in their deck than I do. Okay. Assassin's Trophy is tough. Like, that actually does interact. I don't have enough mana to Thoughtseize them. Maybe I can just kill a Primetime. Okay, they're drawing a bunch of cards with their ring. Amulet of Vigor, hate that. Gruul Turf. I think it's better to attack the Primetime with this one piece of interaction I get this turn. Oh, Cultivator Colossus. Even better. Okay. I'm going to mill them and exile a card. Just for funsies. Blind hoping to hit something that's important. I could trophy Amulet right now and then they have the mana that they have for the turn. Does these come in tapped, right? Yes. They do get to mostly draw their deck here. All right. I'm going to trophy the amulet. Oh, right. They can make another one. I've done nothing. I've done nothing effective ever in my life or in this game. Really, this just came down to them ripping the ring after I thought seize them. It's fine. It's Magic. It's what happens. But that was literally the one card in their deck that I cared about in that spot. And they had, looks like they found 6 lands here, including plenty of mana to pick up this Teleria West, make a Primeval Titan. I guess I have blindly exiled 2 cards from their deck. Maybe this Lair Stronghold was one of them. Got to play it out, even though I don't want to. They bounced Beseiju and both Teleria Wests with their bounce lands. Dryad. Okay, they can just Valak at me. Cool. Yep, one good draw to rule them all. On to the next round. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop. On the draw, in round number 4, one lander with Lantern, Needle, Bridge. I'm going to try this. You can say I'm crazy, it's fine, but any land is a good draw. Any Codex Shredder is a good draw. I think it's goblins. Okay. I can just needle that Aether Vial. Land? See? Told ya. It's fine. Needle Aether Vial. Bang. It's the old Thoughtseize your turn 1 play, except I'm on the draw. Ooh, Stalactite Stalker. A Goblin Rogue gets better if a card dies. I'm going to play Beseiju. And I'm going to play Lantern. This does have an activated ability. It's just not one that I care about. Goblin Matron for you. Glimmer Void for me. I don't know what is in modern goblins well enough to blind needle here. A Crater Maker is tough for me. Goblin Trashmaster is unbeatable. Oh, Sling-Gang Lieutenant wins without combat. I'm going to name that. That's almost certainly in the deck. Okay, name that one. Mog Fanatic. Heck yeah. With the weird naked butt art. Weird. Put some clothes on, you goblin. A Runbelt Horde Master. And they're in for 2 because they have a Lord. Thoughtseize on top of my deck. Glimmer Void in play. I can cast Infernal Tutor. Get a second Ensnaring Bridge, which shuffles away the Thoughtseize. I don't think I actually want to do that, though. I'm going to play the Ensnaring Bridge. Just mana efficiency. There's no card in any graveyard to use this Surgical on, even if I wanted to Surgical my own graveyard just for a shuffle. Not a thing right now. Battlecry Goblin. They don't have the ability to activate that this turn. That's lucky. That would have been more damage than I want to take. I'm at 15. I know they're holding Goblin Matron, which is a card that I don't want to play against. So Thoughtseize you. Ooh, 2 Matrons and a Ringleader. This rules. Take a Matron. And then Assassin's Trophy, the Horde Master. What am I worried about here? I could just wait until combat. This is a 1/1 that gets under my plan is to Infernal Tutor next turn for Codex Shredder and be Hellbent. And do I care about Mog War Marshal in that universe? I think it's a big no. Okay, so I'm going to let them draw for turn. There's an Aether Vial there. At the beginning of combat, I can get down to 1 card in hand here. I'm going to trophy... Alright, let's get into combat first. I'm going to trophy the Horde Master, which I'm pretty sure shuffles before they flip. Okay, land on top of the deck right now. They get to flip that land. Bogart Harbinger. Still in combat, I'm going to extract Goblin Matrons from their deck. And I know there's one in their hand. Matron. Okay, how do I lose here? Sling-Gang Lieutenant. In Snoops, there is 1 Crater Maker in their deck. And they could use Kiki Jiki to copy Mog Fanatic. Okay. There are some ways to still lose here, but I'm in good shape. And the top card of their deck is one that I've turned off. And I am Infernal Tutoring for Codex Shredder this turn, which means I will be able to control their draws for the rest of the time. A Spire of Industry, Infernal Tutor from Hellbent, as Rakdos intended. Lord Rakdos, Codex Shredder, hooks are in, Life from the Loam on top of my deck. I don't really want that, but I can mill it away. What a treat. Okay, now my job is just don't mess up. This Ringleader in their hand is a little bit scary, because I don't want to have to mill lands from them, but also Ringleader could all at once outmuscle a Shredder. But if they keep drawing 5-drops, that's fine. End step, mill my Life from the Loam, Underworld Cookbook. Don't really want that. So I can just dredge Loam here. Inquisition on top of my deck. Loam, pick up a land that I can play right away. I think the black side's better. I already have 2 green sources. I mean, my mana is great. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to let them have Kiki Jiki. Bogart Harbinger is really funny because they can tutor whatever their best card is for me to shred immediately. Yeah, they're out of here. Tapping out. Okay. I want all of my Pithing Needles in. That's how this deck beats me. Torpor Orb actually seems pretty dope. Welding Jar stabilizes an Ensnaring Bridge versus a Crater Maker. I'm pretty low on this Underworld Cookbook. Karn does line up versus the Aether Vials in their deck, but I have all these Pithing Needles. I don't think I want this. Oh, Spellskite is probably worth having. There is some number of Thoughtseizes. That's probably too many. Collective Brutality being a bad removal spell. Like, it's an unplayable discard spell. My opponent may not have an instant or sorcery in their whole deck. -2/-2 is not blank in the matchup, but it's also much worse than Thoughtseize, I think. Though it does kill Conspicuous Snoop, who can be a card advantage engine, casting cards off the top of the deck. Grafdigger's Cage stops that, but I don't think that's good enough to bring in on its own. I'd rather just kill or counter the Snoops. But I still have trophies and pushes. Okay. Collective Brutality is not good enough. And I think -1 Thoughtseize feels like the right number. Just going off vibes on that. Let's go. Okay, I have a Pithing Needle Thoughtseize start. I can't Thoughtseize until I play the Pithing Needle because Spire of Industry is my black source. Ooh, does my opponent play Legacy? We're about to find out. Pithing Needle. Don't fetch in response. Don't do it. Oh yeah. Bloodstainmire. I'll take a Time Walk, Stone Rain, whatever we want to call this. They might have a hand full of activated abilities and just wanted me to do that to get a Pithing Needle out of the way. But if I can like turn on all my stuff while flipping the script on who's taking relevant game actions first, I'll take that. Okay, double War Marshal, kind of a beating. The Snoop has to go. Bogart Harbinger, whatever. Yeah, taking the Snoop. Codex Shredder, jump in. This will be a big turn to draw a land or not. If I can just start making constructs over top of their pitiful 1/1 army, then I can just beat them that way. Grab the Shadow Spear. I'm going to blind shred them. Gotta win this game by milling eventually, right? Build an Auntie's Hovel. Cool. Land for me? Ancient Stirrings. Alright, not a land for me. Not yet, anyway. I'll cast that Stirrings. Found some lands. Do I want Swamp or Boseiju? Boseiju casts another Stirrings. That's pretty cool. Okay. Yep. Boseiju. Play that. Fire the second Boseiju. Urza Saga. Well, there's a Lantern if I just want to get the hooks in now. I think I'd rather have a Saga and keep stuff going. I can tutor the Lantern next turn anyway. That doesn't really change anything. They did not pay for their War Marshal, which means they're planning on using mana. Do I care about anything they're going to do, or do I just block here? Yeah, I'll just block. Keep my life total flush, keep their goblin count low. The War Marshal. Continue shredding them. I don't know if I ever completed this thought. I thought it multiple times. If I said it already, my bad. But milling yourself when you're blind milling actually matters because Codex Shredder has an ability of 5-tap, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. If you need a specific card and expect the game to go long enough for you to have 5 mana, then milling yourself kind of puts it there for later. Ah, Bloodstained Mire on top of their deck. Taste it, nerd. Welding Jar, Urza Saga. I can Pithing Needle, Sling Gang Lieutenant here. Or a Goblin Crater Maker. I don't care about Crater Maker now that I have Welding Jar. Alright, Pithing Needle. Sling Gang Lieutenant. I have the biggest creature in play. I have my hooks in. I have protection for my thing. I'm drawing another Shredder next turn. You're drawing a blank. Bloodstained Mire right now. I have perfect information about their... Or no, I'm missing one card in their hand. A Snoop on top's pretty powerful. I better mill that away, because that's the thing I can do. And they're done! Heck yeah, that turn 1 Pithing Needle on Bloodstained Mire being good for 2 lands over the course of the game. I don't know if that was the difference maker, but certainly felt good at the time. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. On the draw for the final round, positive record on the line. Gotta ship this no-lander. I will keep this insanely stable, excellent hand. I have Lantern Pixis, locked and loaded. I will need an Ensnaring Bridge. I have Ancient Stirrings that can look for it. I'm going to Lantern right now to start getting that information. Opponent is a Gilded Goose gamer. They're fetching away the Gilded Goose. Don't want that one. Orcish Bowmaster on top. Okay. Opponent said in the chat they love my content, and then I played Lantern of Insight. Whoops. Lost a fan today. Okay, we've got some Yawgmoth with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That's a nice life hack for someone who's trying to mill all your good cards away. Unfortunately, my mill card right now is Pixis, which exiles. Inquisition U. I know there's at least a Bowmaster in there. Bowmaster Grist Cord. Well, awkward because taking Grist does not actually solve any of my problems here because of the Cauldron. I don't care about their draw, so I don't have to Pixis this turn. I could Ancient Stirrings and dig. Grist will eventually kill me. Wow, that Cauldron was a sick one to have in between my discard spell and my lock. Okay, Pithing Needle's in my deck somewhere. Boseju's in my deck somewhere. Ensnaring Bridge is in my deck somewhere. I think Chord of Calling is actually the most dangerous card here that I'm allowed to take. Okay. Blooming Marsh, Ancient Stirrings. Ensnaring Bridge was found. I'll grab it. I know that Yawgmoth can win just fine without combat. Another Wall of Roots. Verdant Catacombs is a shuffle, a fresh look, if they don't want that Wall of Roots, or if they just need 3 mana. I honestly think the best thing I can do with my turn is Ancient Stirrings into Pithing Needle, and at least check that box, the Soul Cauldron box, and then figure everything else out later. Grist, that we know is going to mill away the Blooming Marsh. Hapatra on top of the deck. Second Ensnaring Bridge. I'm going to Stirrings, try to find that needle. Did find the needle. I'll get it right now. Quicksand on top of my deck. Spire of Industry, Pithing Needle, name Agatha's Soul Cauldron, I suppose. And naming Yawgmoth. What a beating, this stupid Soul Cauldron. Okay, they're exiling Inquisition of Kozilek in response. This deck is all activated abilities, and Soul Cauldron is just all of them over again. I think I actually have to name Yawgmoth here, or else I just lose. Okay, I'm going to name Yawgmoth now, and then start to figure out everything else I need to figure out later, I guess. They drew Hapatra. They can mill a Wall of Roots here with Grist. Grist can eventually kill me too. Each opponent loses life equal to the creature cards in your graveyard. What an insane matchup this is. They mill the Wall of Roots, Gilded Goose on top. Exiling Wall of Roots. The insect gets to bash extra hard now. Oh, that's so sick. It is a -0, -1 counter, so it can still attack for 2. Yeah, I guess that is how that would work, huh? I've never had to think about all those things in the same place before. Soul Cauldron. Once again, undefeated, weird. I am going to draw the Quicksand here. I'm not going to pick this because I don't care about Gilded Goose. And I can guarantee being hellbent with an Ensnaring Bridge this turn. This Urza Saga represents a potential future Pithing Needle for Soul Cauldron or Grist. There's just too many things I need to answer. All right, another Yawg on top of the deck, which means they can mill that and give its abilities to something else. Dang it. Oh, I was supposed to Pixis in response. Dang it, I'm so bad at this. This is so weird. Yeah, I was supposed to Pixis in response to Grist milling. Now I think I just lose. As Hepatra, whenever a -1 counter is on something, you get a snake, but your life total does have some limitations here. I'm so annoyed that I missed exiling that Yawgmoth. Whoops. All we could do now is ride the lightning. Okay, they end up with a young wolf here, and they could just draw another card in response, so exiling now doesn't matter. I missed my window for that to be an effective strategy. They're also holding up a Nurturing Peatland activation. Yeah, they can just outmuscle a Pixis. That was the spot where I needed to do it. If I survive this turn somehow, I can Expedition Map for Boseiju, clear the Soul Cauldron, and then I'm stable. Oh, there's another Soul Cauldron on top of the deck. That is a legendary permanent. Grist on top of the deck now. Yep, still just doing stuff here. And this young wolf, if they ever choose to do it, can make mana because Wall of Roots is also under the thing. Yeah, I just have to hope that the top 9 cards of their deck are not helpful. Well, there's the best card. My fault. I messed up on the Pixis thing. Let's both exile our top card, and you'll just draw a card in response, and then it doesn't matter. Yep, okay. Believe it or not, I did not have any muscle memory prepared for the interaction of Pixis of Pandemonium, Grist, and Agatha Soul Cauldron. A first appearance of Dothy Voidwalker in the league. Excited about that. Okay, just a bunch of stuff that turns off their tricks or shuts down their loop. I'm happy with all of that. Collective Brutality, maybe. Life from the Loam, maybe. Karn turns off the Soul Cauldron. And then wishes for, like, nothing. Okay. Once again, Cookbook and Shadow Spear appear entirely cuttable to me. Thoughtseize is a card that I want in some number, but maybe not 4. And this looks like a plan. Let's get them. On the play, of course, for game 2, and I have my hooks I'm going to keep. My opponent says shout out to Dan, who watches all my videos, and my opponent thinks is also a patron. All right, Dan. Shout out to you. I'm going to start getting my insight right now. I have a second lantern on top. They have Pendelhaven. Fulminator Mage, okay. There's the Pendelhaven. Probably won't be Pithing Needling that, but I could. I'm going to stir right now. Codex Shredder, Karn, land number 3. I think I want another Shredder here. I'm not ready for Karn, and Shredder can find my land drop, that's fine. There's also a land on top of my deck, which I know because of my Lantern of Insight. Cool trick, huh? I don't know if they want or care about this Fulminator Mage, so I'm just not going to mess with it for a while. Nurturing Peatland on top of the deck. Shuffling that away. Yawgmoth on top. I'm going to shred the Yawgmoth. If they have Soul Cauldron, they have Soul Cauldron, but let's put that card away. Force of Vigor. I will be getting rid of that too. I'm going to shred you right away. Make sure that force is gone before I commit this Glimmer Void to a board where I just get all my permanents destroyed. Ancient Stirrings. Haywire might just answer an Agatha Soul Cauldron. Codex Shredder, Lantern of Insight. I'm going to hide the Haywire Might from possible removal. I know they can Fulminator Mage off this Nurturing Peatland. I don't think that's a fight I'm going to fight. Twilight Mire, okay. They had land number 3 anyway. That was not my worry. Fulminator Mage. There's a fast land on top of my deck. I kind of hope they do Fulminate me. Now I'm in an awkward spot where I don't want to draw Fulminator, or I don't want to draw this fast land unless they Fulminate me. But if I mill this, it might make sense to Fulminate me. I'm going to mill a Delighted Halfling. There's a Chord of Calling. I don't want them to have that either. It's unreasonable when all your opponent's cards are good. Shred the Chord. Like the heavy metal rock gods that we are. Just shredding chords out here. Boseiju, another pain in the ass. That doesn't break up anything I'm actually doing that's important right now. Though it will eventually break up something important. All right. Shred you. Hope for the best. Please don't have 3 good cards in a row. Okay, cool. We dodged. Blooming Marsh. Haywire Might. Holding up a removal spell. Something's happening in the end step for 2 green. It was Chord for 1. That's legal. Okay. It's also a shuffle, which is even more important than whatever card they get here. Delighted Halfling. Cool. We dodged again. I don't think I'm worried about that one. I know they have Delighted Halfling, Nurturing Peatland among their 4 cards in hand. Nurturing Peatland still in there. And Yawgmoth. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to kill that. And I'm going to do it right now. Yawgmoth kills my Haywire Might. This is 2 of their 4 Yawgmoths gone. They can do some more yogging in response. Let's draw some more cards. 2 lands in their hand right now. Another land on top of the deck. Sacking the Wall of Roots, drawing out another land. Grist on top of the deck now. Do they want to sack this Fulminator Mage to have access to Grist? It's probably worth doing. Yep, they agreed. I could Lantern, just throw one of my Lanterns, try to deny them a Grist. I am going to hold on to my Lanterns. And then Yogg dies. They can tutor a basic if they have any left. They could decline and keep Bowmaster on top, I guess, if they want to. Strangle Rugeist, that was probably better than Bowmaster. And a Boseiju underneath it. Every card in this deck is good against me. I can mill the Boseiju, though. We've got a plan. Gaining life from Inventor's Fair. I'm not going to mill this forest, because that activates Inventor's Fair, and then I can get whatever. Oh, Ensnaring Bridge. That's what I might have gotten. I'm going to shred their Boseiju. I already know they have a Grist in hand. That doesn't change anything. Yawgmoth on top. Cool. That's the 3rd one. There's the Nurturing Peatland. Oh, I was supposed to mill before they made their land drop. I didn't have a stop in their draw step. I couldn't play around this if they did this tightly. Grist. Okay. Well, if you activate that, your Yogg's gone. Okay. They have activated Grist to mill the Yawgmoth. They have 2 men in the pool. I've seen most of the cards they have this game. And haven't seen a Soul Cauldron yet. I get in for 4 here. I go back to my starting life total. Yeah, I'm not going to shuffle away this Ensnaring Bridge. I think it's really important. And I'm not going to mill a land off the top of their deck, even if it is a land that redraws and is slightly annoying. Expedition Map. That's an Urza Saga next turn. Or a Boseiju. Okay, go. Begin the weird gaming. Tear Asunder. Can't lay up that. Activating Nurturing Peatland. Shred you. Yeah, the interplay of Grist here being a card that cares about the top card of your deck, and then you have to use your Nurturing Peatlands aggressively to get the cards you want, so you don't have to mill them with Grist. But I also, I don't know, you all hear what I'm saying here. It's a weird thing where we all care about and manipulate the top cards of decks. That's not normally how Magic works. Opponent has 8 creatures in their graveyard if they go to Ultimate Grist. Just gotta keep track of that because it is relevant. Voidwalker, that's my guy. Okay. That's not really my guy because Grist. Okay, I'm actually just gonna tutor for a Saga here. Yeah, Grist just kills the Voidwalker. Doesn't matter. But I would like to start my search for Pithing Needle. Starts now. Opponent's fetching, doesn't want the Verdant Catacombs. Let's see if there's something good on top of the deck that I have to clear. Yep, I would say so. Among the best possible. Oh, something's happening in response. Nope, change their mind. I don't think I care about Hapatra. Oh, they have a Takanuma. That's tough. Okay, I mean, that just straight up gets back Yawgmoth. I think that was the one card in there and I didn't know about. Oh, Yawgmoth back in hand. Is there anything I can do to stop this? Not really. Just gotta hope that their life total gives out before they find Court of Calling. Alright, yep, there's that. And they can draw or flip cards back and forth until they're happy. Or until they're out of life total. They can see all but 10 cards in their deck. There's 2 Court of Callings already gone. I don't like my chances here. And we're beginning the sacrificing. Overgrown Tomb on top. 12 life to go. Haywire Might. Okay. This can just clear my Ensnaring Bridge. That is what's happening. Okay. Am I just dead to combat? Okay, Bridge is gone. You also gain 2 life. That's 2 more cards you can see on your road to Court of Calling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. There are 9 creatures in the graveyard. I'm not quite dead to this. This matchup feels horrendous. Just everything they do lines up so well against what you do, and their primary win is not combat related, but you also do care about the combat, and they're happy to kill their own creatures or have their own creatures in the graveyard. Now they have Force of Vigor on top. They don't even have to. Yeah, I'm good here. We don't need to. They don't have to combo out here anymore. They just hold that Force of Vigor and beat whatever I try to do. Okay. I definitely punted game 1 of that Yawgmoth match by not pixising the Yawgmoth before they could mill it and put it in the Soul Cauldron. This deck definitely feels without Mox Opal in it. Like, maybe that's a very obvious statement to say about a banned card, but I played a lot of this deck back when we had access to Opal. Urza Saga feels like a huge upgrade. I feel like Underworld Cookbook is not really worth the slot. I can see spots where it's, like, I guess against Burn, where you just can never exit the Ensnaring Bridge and turn every card you draw into Gain 3. That's Inevitability versus Burn. But there's not a single creature to recur. There's not even like a long convoluted line over a game where the second ability will become relevant. I guess if you need to remove 2 things over like 6 turns with a single Haywire Might, but that doesn't seem real to me. I would probably want something else there. The Infernal Tutor was cool. 2 Pithing Needle in the main looked like a lot when I first was sent the list, but I actually kind of wish I had 3 in the main. Maybe that Cookbook should just be a 3rd needle, because that's what your bad matchups are doing to beat you. Lots of cool techie cards in here, and you can see how you would win games. You can also see how you would lose games. It's a give and take. You do need a specific set of things to get the full control of a game, but once you get it, it feels so insane. It's fun to ride the high of Lantern Control once in a while, but I am also mostly glad it's not a tier 1 deck anymore, because the time where this was genuinely just one of the best decks you could play was pretty miserable for the format, though I would accept an uptick in Lantern Control if I get my precious Mox Opal back. None of that's happening, though. I'm just talking. Dodrin, thank you for asking me to play your deck. It's fun to ride the highs of Lantern Control once in a while. Glad we got to do this. Congrats on the top 8 of your event. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.